I'm born and raised here in Pittsburgh. And the story I have is about the neighborhood I grew up in. Here in Pittsburgh, when we grew up, we weren't very politically correct back in the 70s. You were either a Dago, a Polak, a Jew. It was the way it was, a hunky, whatever the case was. We didn't mean it mean. It was just who you were. It was just an adjective. So fast forward in my neighborhood now, the home me and my wife bought. We were looking around, we found a house, we found a typical Pittsburgh neighborhood. House, driveway, house, driveway. We moved in, and it was the first Monday after we bought the house. And I'm sitting there with my sister, and we're cleaning the house, my wife's at work, and on the door comes a knock. It goes, rap, rap, rap. I go over, open the door, in comes a woman who identifies herself as Kathy. I'm your next door neighbor. And for the next 10 minutes, she rapid fired. I lived here my whole life, blah, 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 you know, I'm married, I have 2 kids, I have 6 siblings, I'm a hunky, I'm really a Slovak, but it's okay to call me a hunky. So I know right then and there, this girl's from Pittsburgh, she's down to earth. But for 10 minutes, rapid fire, and then she looks at her watch and says, oh, I gotta go to church. I'll talk to you later, bye. And out the door she goes. So I'm sitting there, and it was like a cold splash of water in my face, and I'm looking at my sister, and she looks at me, and she says, I think you got a live one living next door to you. So at this point, it's our first day, I don't know what's going on. Like, this is our neighborhood we're gonna be living in. So as the years go by, we go ahead and we have a party. And it's the first time we introduced our family, our friends, and everybody in the neighborhood together at this party. Lots of food, lots of drink, everybody's having a really good time. At this point, I need to tell you, I'm one of 11 kids. We're also Roman Catholic, and we all tend to drink a lot. So I know you're politically correct, so I don't want you to guess my ethnicity, but you probably can. At this point, my oldest sister starts ripping into my younger sister. Just ripping in over some offense, just really aggravated, mad. And my next door neighbor, Kathy, the hunky, she comes over and says, Michael, what's going on? Oh my God. I'm like, Kathy, grab another beer. This is when the party starts. It's not a good party unless somebody bleeds or leaves mad. So we're still living, we're still good neighbors and good friends. And so we go ahead and it's Christmas time. Well, I go to Walmart and they have Christmas lights on sale. I get 40 boxes. Now this is a little tiny house. I cover the house with Christmas lights top to bottom. It's a cold Tuesday night. I finally finish. I walk across the street and I'm standing there admiring the house. I am thrilled with myself. Out the door comes Kathy. She comes, stands right beside me, and she says, Michael, are you afraid it looks a little hunky? I said, Kathy, I'm not a hunky, I wouldn't know. She says, well, Michael, I am, and it is. At that point, I am standing in the middle of the street crying. I'm laughing so hard, it's freezing on my face. So we fast forward again. This is our starter house. We're going to be there a few years. My wife and I have our second daughter, Mary. At 2 months of age, she dies very unexpectedly. And I can't tell you the gravity of that depth of grief. But I can tell you, when we were at the very lowest parts, we'd hear a rap at the door. We wouldn't want to answer it. I'd open it. It would be Kathy with a casserole, with donuts. She would force her way in, and she would sit there and let us just babble incoherently as we worked our way through this. Never asked. She was always there when we needed her most. And now I look back, and I think we're there for 18 years in this home. The house is little by today's standards. It's a little 3-bedroom, 1-bath house. And I look and I say, you know, the meaning of a neighborhood is not the square footage of this house. It's the love and the relationships we build over time. And I think to myself how lucky we are, and we are so very blessed. And I wish the same for all of you, to live in a neighborhood where you have love and unconditional friendship. And if you're super lucky like me, you'll get to live next to a hunky. Thank you very much.
There it is, Michael.